Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're joining us from. I'm Agnes Nyaga from UN Human Rights, and I will be your moderator and timekeeper today. I'm thrilled to welcome you to the very first Future of Evaluation Dialogue, part of a monthly dialogue series that is a cornerstone of the Eval4Action 2.0 launch. These dialogues bring together evaluation experts and leaders, young and emerging evaluators, and new voices in the evaluation community and beyond to explore how innovative approaches and adaptations can make evaluation more influential today and tomorrow, given the evolving global landscape. Today's dialogue will focus on one big question: is the intersection of youth, innovation, and influence evaluation's new frontier? And what a better day to have this conversation than today as we celebrate the International Youth Day. We hope that this will be a dynamic and timely conversation, and we're looking forward to hearing from you and engaging with you so that we can shape the conversation on the future of evaluation together. So, to officially open today's dialogue, it is my pleasure to invite someone who has long championed inclusive leadership and meaningful youth engagement. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Diene Keita, Acting Executive Director of UNFPA. Ms. Keita, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Agnes. Esteemed partners and colleagues, dear young people, it is a pleasure to address you on International Youth Day. Today is a very special day. We come together to celebrate the most powerful and transformative force on our planet, young people. In doing so, we recognize the energy, the ideas, and the relentless spirit that they bring in pursuit of a better world. Today, it is fitting that we explore that unique ways in which young people are shaping the future of evaluation. We are asking the question: is the intersection of youth, innovation, and influence evaluation's new frontier? The global challenges we face today demand new ways of thinking and delivering. They call for alliances that transcend generations and geographic boundaries and leverage our unique expertise. I commend the Eval4Action campaign for launching this series of dialogue as a movement and platform for co-creation. This is a space to challenge assumptions, to innovate, and to build authentic intergenerational partnership vital for our shared future. At UNFPA, we know that when young people are meaningfully engaged in evaluation, it becomes more than a technical exercise. It becomes a tool for transformation. It sharpens our focus and amplifies our effort to deliver real and lasting change. This important work is not done alone. So I commend the EvalYouth Global Network, the Global Parliamentarians Forum on Evaluation, the International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation, and UNFPA's Independent Evaluation Office for joining forces through the Eval4Action campaign. During today's dialogue, you will notice a powerful symbol, the Eval torch. It is a promise to carry the flame of curiosity, collaboration, and conviction into our discussion. With that in mind, I'm delighted to join Ana Erika Lareza, chair of the EvalYouth Global Network, in passing the Eval torch to our dear moderator, Agnes Nyaga of OHCHR. Every voice matters. If we listen to each other and keep our minds open to discovery, we can use evaluation to help create the future we all want. So let's keep this flame burning bright. Happy International Youth Day.
Thank you very much, Ms. Keita, and it's a pleasure to welcome you as well into this dialogue. And a happy International Youth Day to everyone joining us here today. As the chair of EvalYouth Global Network, the Eval Torch symbolizes our commitment to build on the foundation of intergenerational partnerships and the transformative power of young people. May this flame further ignite the boundless innovation and influence youth are bringing to evaluation. It is with great excitement that we now pass the torch to Agnes Nyaga to light the way forward for our dialogue.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Keita, for that inspiring message and for setting such a powerful tone for today's Future of Evaluation dialogue. And what a meaningful promise to carry the flame of curiosity, collaboration, and conviction into our discussion today. I believe we are all ready. Thank you again, Ms. Keita and Anna Erica. The Eval Torch is received, and with that, we light the way toward shaping the future of evaluation together. Let's see some virtual claps to celebrate this. Not sure if we can see each other, but we are all celebrating. Awesome. The energy is already here and we're ready to kick off. So, what's today really about? Our big question is the intersection of youth, innovation, and influence evaluation's new frontier? On this International Youth Day, we're here to recognize the power of young people in shaping evaluation today and into the future. We look at how young leaders are shaping evaluation and using it to drive accountability, transformation, and progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. We'll also dive into the power of youth leadership and participatory approaches in evaluation, and how youth-led digital transformation and innovation are reshaping evaluation practices and increasing its influence. And of course, this wouldn't be complete without spotlighting the critical role of youth from the Global South in advancing indigenous evaluation and pushing for more inclusive, locally grounded evaluation practices. We are now also live on the UNFPA Independent Evaluation Office LinkedIn page. You can replay the dialogue on the same LinkedIn event page later. Today's dialogue will have 5 segments. We will start with our panel's perspective on today's question, followed by a debate on a bold statement. And here we will launch a live poll. And after, we will hear from our panelists. After that, we will dive deeper into key themes that emerged with focused questions to the panelists. And then we'll have some reflections from the participants and wrap up with a rapid fire key takeaway from our panelists. Now, let's hear from our incredible and diverse panelists from various generations joining us from around the world. Each of them brings a unique perspective on today's question. Is the intersection of youth, innovation, and influence evaluation's new frontier? Panelists, please introduce yourselves briefly and share your take on the question of the day. You have 2 minutes each. Let's get started. And we can start with Natalia Nikitenko.
Hello, dear participants. It's such a great pleasure to be here today with you and also celebrate the International Youth Day. Congratulations, because it's about energy, youth is about future, youth is about potential. So congratulations to the whole globe with this celebration. And I'm Natalia Nikitenko. I represent Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation. And also I was the member of the Kyrgyz parliament for 11 years, 2 convocations, promoting the agenda of evaluation in the region, in the country. And also, Agnes, if you allow me to share my perspective right now. Just the idea for establishing Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation in 2013 was very important, because Parliaments and parliamentarians are key stakeholders promoting the legislation, setting up the budgets. How can they be excluded from evaluation? Don't aware and just be users of the evidences. It actually doesn't work efficiently like that. That is why the major mission and idea of Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation initially was to involve parliamentarians and parliaments in promoting evaluation agenda, being the leaders, setting up the legislation, national evaluation strategies and policies, involving different stakeholders in evaluation, not just being users, and also allocate budgets for that. So this mission is very important, and it's implemented worldwide with different speed and results. But generally speaking, today we discuss the role and intersection of youth, innovation, and influence as a new frontier. Yes, the call today is clear. We need future-ready evaluation. And from my experience as parliamentarian, I can see that evaluation must adapt to these rapid global changes that actually are very crucial. Today, we really face the poly crisis, and evaluation needs to respond it. So we need evaluation systems that are inclusive, integrating diverse voices such as youth, women, marginalized communities, and grounded in local realities to ensure equitable and effective development. Embracing new technologies, including AI, it's essential, and we must navigate ethical frontiers responsibility to ensure innovations enhances credibility rather than undermining it. But that needs youth energy. Based on the data from United Nations and other international organizations, approximately 90% of the world's nearly 2 billion young people live in the global south. So this is the voice of youth. We should listen in evaluation landscape. And youth engagement plays a vital role in this future. Their energy, creativity, perspectives are essential drivers of innovation and transformative changes. And we definitely need to actively champion young evaluators and support their leadership in shaping evaluation practices that are resilient, adaptive, and aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals. Today's youth
Natalia.
aren't just participants, they are leaders shaping our world.
Thank you, Natalia. I can hear, okay, no echo. Thank you very much, Natalia. Now we can hear from Brenda Buchelli.
Yeah. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. I'm very pleased here to contribute to this dialogue in this special day. I am Brenda Buchelli. Now I'm the General Coordinator of ReLAC, that is the Monitoring, Evaluation, and Systematization Network from Latin America and the Caribbean. I'm based in Lima, Peru, and ReLAC currently has 15 members from 14 countries, and we recently celebrated our 20th anniversary. So, well, this is what a question that is guiding this dialogue. I think to address it correctly, we first need to broaden our understanding of evaluation to include the continuum, all the continuum of what it means. It is planning, monitoring, evaluation, reporting, learning. So we need not only focus on the specific exercise of evaluation, and also to take in mind that the age range of youth, it varies significantly in different regions and countries. And in the youth, the young evaluators are also different. In Latin America, for example, the evaluation studies typically are at the postgraduate level. So our young evaluators range between 30 and 40 years. So there's also a difference that maybe in other places they won't be considered as young. So taking all this in mind, well, of course, definitely the intersection of youth and innovation specifically is a very highly relevant and emerging topic, and it's very important for our evaluation practice, given the growing role of technologies, of course, including AI, and the young people as digital natives, they bring special skills that to these technologies, and also these technologies at the time, they optimize the work processes and, of course, give more relevance and importance to the role of the youth in the different teams, in the work teams. Yeah. But I think that the young people still have limited influence in evaluations because mostly the roles that they assume are more operational. Yeah, they are more technical. They take more responsibilities in role like monitoring and reporting, for example, but less in others like the evaluation itself, learning, planning, and how to transform information into decision-making processes and actionable recommendations. All these are areas to improve, how to give them more space, more influence on these kind of duties. Yeah, that's why intergenerational evaluation practice are needed, as well as closer relationship between the youth and other actors in the ecosystem of evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brenda. Now I invite Rachael Okoronkwo. You take the floor.
Thank you, Agnes. Sorry, I'm trying to start my video. Thank you. Okay, hi colleagues, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Rachael Okoronkwo, a monitoring and evaluation officer with Clones House, Nigeria, a specialist evaluation firm with over 14 years of experience providing technical assistance in monitoring, evaluation, and learning. I am passionate about youth inclusion in evaluation, and today's theme really speaks to me. So for me, the intersection of youth, innovation, and influence is not evaluation's new frontier. It's already our reality, right? So as a young evaluator, I have been in rooms where my age could have been seen as a limitation. However, we are seeing young people step into evaluation spaces with fresh thinking and are unafraid to challenge old systems. Yeah, with youth comes curiosity and creativity. With innovation, we have access to digital tools to work smarter and even more efficiently. And then, of course, with influence, we're not just collecting data, we are making sure that our work shapes policy, they shift mindsets, and they actually change lives. So the intersection of, youth, innovation, and influence is not something we are waiting for. We are in it already. We are living it. I think the real question would be, how do we keep nurturing this intersection so it becomes the standard way we do evaluation and not just a trend that would come and go? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Rachael. And now we invite our last panelist, Cheng Wang.
Hello everyone, and thanks for hosting this event, and thanks for having me. My name is Cheng, and I am currently the co-founder of EvalYouth China, and I'm also currently a graduate student at Harvard Kennedy Schools, and previously I hold 3 years of professional experiences in M&E with UNDP. And for me, this theme is very interesting topic to discuss. But before coming to my argument, I would say evaluation itself, the existing frontier is actually unclear. So it is vaguely defined. You can easily say something is evaluation, but it's very, very hard and difficult to say something is not evaluation. Arguments, I do think the intersection of youth, innovation, and influences is accelerating these processes. It is accelerating people's understanding about evaluations and giving more utilizations options in terms of evaluations. And this is really because of 2 reasons. The first, like the multidisciplinary subject nature of the evaluation makes innovation in each of the subjects that are related could be having a rippling effects of how we understand and how we utilize. And this actually, I personally would think it's because of the cost and benefits background of evaluation, because it is not research. Evaluation needs to come to practice. It is for improvement, for learning. So if we could have technology and innovation which lowering the cost, they're definitely going to have more influences and utilizations of evaluations. Coming back to youth, I think youth is more willingness in terms of learning. And one of the examples that we currently have is like we are having a SDGL evaluation workshop with 20 co-host members across China. And actually like everyone are having a dramatic different background from private sector, government, EU agencies, philanthropies, NGOs. So, but they are all coming here to learn evaluations, even though they may not be evaluated in the future. I think this is also very critical. We need to create one of the ecosystem that not only evaluators and evaluation managers understand the evaluation language, but also the entire ecosystem who utilize evaluation also buy into the norm of evaluation. And I'm happy to expand more of this argument later on in today's discussion.
Thank you very much, Cheng, and thank you very much, panelists. Each of you brought such thought-provoking perspectives to the table and a bit of nuance. So looking forward to hear more on the debate. And to shake things up a bit, we are going to launch a quick live poll with a bold statement, something to challenge our assumptions and push our thinking. As the panelists said, let's try to unpack the different opportunities and roadblocks for authentic youth engagement, as without addressing this, we can't shape or adapt the future of evaluation together. So our bold statement is, many experienced evaluators remain unprepared for the profound transformation driven by the youth movement and the digital revolution. You have three choices, agree, disagree, or a nuanced view. You may go ahead and vote now, and let's see where the room stands. Soon we will be able to see the results. So please go ahead and vote. Thank you for voting. Just 1 minute and then we see the results now. Let's see where we stand in the room. Okay, so we have 69% agree. We have, 7% disagree, and we have 24% having a nuanced view. So we can see that the majority agree, and I hope that this discussion, we will hear some reflections at the end of this. Thank you very much for your participation. Now let's take it back to our panel with a live debate. Panelists, please tell us where you stand on this. You're welcome to agree, disagree, or share a nuanced take, and feel free to respond to each other as well. You may also link in with your previous discussions while you were introducing yourselves. So I hand over to you now.
Thank you so much, Agnes. It was surprising, or maybe not surprising, from the results of the poll, because I would actually have a nuanced stand on the statements. Yes, the pace of change in evaluation driven by youth movements and digital transformation is rapid. But from my lived experiences, I have witnessed a growing willingness among experienced evaluators to adapt, especially when young people create spaces for genuine collaboration. To give an instance, in my work, I was part of a team of 3 young evaluators who had led the monitoring and evaluation capacity and compliance assessment of 38 MDAs in Nigeria. We were not brought on board as data collectors or note takers during the meetings, but we led the process from start to finish. I mean, from the inception meeting to the dissemination of findings. Also, taking a look at the EvalYouth mentoring program, which has facilitated mentorship for, if I'm correct, 241 YEEs as of last year, a figure that I know would get close to 300 by the end of this current cohort. So these are signs of openness and an outstretched arm of collaboration and connection between these generations. Also, there's also the intentionality in recent RFPs and TORs on the part of commissioners requesting for junior evaluators to take up roles in evaluation processes, either as national consultants or data analysts. And this is also evident in a recent impact study my organization had conducted across 7 African countries. So while there may be pockets of unpreparedness, I mean, it's good to note that, but I believe that we are seeing evaluation grow as a profession, not being overtaken by change. Typically, young people are told, when you're not invited to the table, drag a chair and come along. No, that is not what is happening here. But I see evaluation growing into a profession where intergenerational collaboration and digital fluency are becoming the norm. So the challenge to all of us today would be to accelerate this integration so that we don't just respond to change, but we lead change and lead it effectively. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brenda, go ahead.
Yeah, very interesting points, Rachel. Yeah, I agree that this context is favoring the application. Well, the transformation. Is giving more space to the youth, especially because we are looking for greater efficiency and effectiveness in evaluation. With less resources, we have to do more things with less and faster. So that in general is favoring to adapt to bring new technologies. And as I said, the young people have more skills on this. But at the same time, the constraints are because the more experienced evaluator, they still have the responsibility to lead the process, and they have to do their things, and maybe they don't understand how to use all these appliances, these technologies. There is a digital illiteracy, maybe not enough. But this is from the side of evaluation. What you said, Rachel, maybe varied between the regions. From what I see in my practice in Latin America, we are not still there. Still, the young people are more on the operational roles, data collection, data management, related to monitoring, to reporting, rather than sitting in the final interpretation of information and providing actionable recommendations, for example. So there's still an area to improve. Yeah, we are not yet there, but we are on the way.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel and Brenda. Let me also give some intervention from the position of decision makers. You know, being the member of the parliament, really, I can admit that for politicians, for people who use evaluation evidences, let's say them today and now, the speed makes the really crucial role. And this is kind of not the conflict, but the challenge sometimes between the quality standards and the deep evaluations that do take time, and actually the expectations from the decision makers to have the information, the evidences and data in the very short time format. So here, what we can see, the world is changing and the evaluation itself is changing seriously. The new challenges that we face, actually, they really raise this issue crucially. So we see that really, today, I would say that the profound changes shape our society. And it's a critical challenge for us. Between the generations, there is a little kind of gap in transforming the knowledge, in working together. Involvement of youth still remains the issue, especially taking into account the Global South region, and I speak about my Central Asian region, where youth is not that much involved and represented in evaluation themselves. So here I would agree with what Brenda said. But you know, at the same time, we see as a policy maker, we rely on robust objective evaluation to tell us if a program is working, the law is efficient here and now. And we need informed decisions. And here the youth movements, they're powered by digital innovations, they don't follow the old rules. And it's not about blaming the generation or a profession. It's about recognizing that the world that we govern, that they live in, is changing faster than our system of measurement. And here there is a new space for youth energy in evaluation, that's for sure. And we live with this reality already today. So the youth, they don't use the old rules in politics as well. So they actually, it's not about lobbying in the corridor or launching a traditional public awareness campaign. It's about viral ideas, grassroots organization, peer-to-peer influence that actually can reshape a national conversation overnight. And sometimes politicians, they play with this information, you know, play with these evidences. But this also presents a serious challenge for our evaluation framework, and traditional metrics we use often fail to capture the speed, scale, and organic nature of this new kind of influence. So we do need to take into account these new approaches, involve more young people who do have the knowledge about new technologies, and breed intergenerational communities, you know, through different tools like mentorship programs, involvement of youth in decision-making positions, to advocate for implementation, institutionalization of evaluation, through creating the opportunities for education and evaluation for young people. Now, if we are to create policies that are truly responsive and effective, we need evaluation methods keep pace with this change. We need to youth to be more involved in this process. Thank you.
Okay, and for me, just very quickly, I definitely I do agree that different country and region are at different phase of evaluation development. Some countries, maybe evaluation are a very new concept where it still struggles in translating it into a local language. Sometimes even young people, they are doing evaluation, they don't know it is evaluation actually. So I do think the healthy participation of the youth into the evaluation, it really takes time for involvement. And my second point will be, I think it is very important to avoid the dichotomy between the senior evaluators with YEs, because sometimes we think like we are just demanding more and maybe people will think young people are more reckless, but not really acting without knowing. But on the other hand, I think these they need to be understanding about each other more. Mentorship is a very good mechanism, but in another way will be international exchanging conference like this. So listening to young people and also young people could be contributing a lot of more into the given topic. And lastly, I think my third point will be yes, users do have the techniques and having to change a lot of the fundamental concept of the how we understand evaluations for sure. Big data, AI are just some of the very famous tools, but actually this technology could be applied into any other subjects, which could be implying and influencing about evaluations. And evaluation is not just like data science or data engineering, because old people can be easily replaced by new people because they know about new software, they know about new frontier technologies. But evaluation is more multidisciplinary. It doesn't not only came from how much technique you got. It actually come from experiences. That is where so myself will be placing a nuanced position for this debate, because I do think both sides are have something unprepared. Yeah, that will be my answer. And giving back to the floor to Agnes, see if we need another round of discussion.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Based on the poll and the debate, I think we have had very interesting perspective. The answer may be leaning towards yes, are a bit nuanced. there are bottlenecks on meaningfully engaging youth, and we've had some of the examples. For example, Brenda mentioned on youth mainly doing the operational roles, and the other side where Rachael was speaking towards YE is leading from the start to finish about the intergenerational conversations and also the digital reforms. Then Natalia speaking to this as well and acknowledging the gap and the expectations from decision makers and how we can reflect to improve this as well. And Cheng, thanks a lot for concluding with this and speaking towards also enhancing the different conversations about mentorship. I think this was very fascinating and very thought-provoking. So thank you for your honesty and boldness in this discussion. I think at this point, we will want to dive deeper, and panelists, I may ask you a number of questions, and please feel free to respond. The questions are open to all, so please feel free to respond to the ones that you would wish to respond to. So at this point, I will start with the first question. How do youth-led digital approaches, including the use of AI, change traditional evaluation practices and shift power dynamics in evaluations? I think this is a very interesting question, given also the take that we have just had about the digital reforms and the different power dynamic shifts. So I open the floor to panelists. Perhaps we could start with Brenda or Cheng, as you see fit. Cheng, I can see you on my screen, so please feel free to start.
Okay, Brenda, do you want to go first? Okay, yeah. So for me, I do think my answer to this is like coming back to my previous argument about the cost-benefit analysis of evaluations. Because previously I more in the role of evaluation managers, so I know evaluation does come with cost, and many times project do want to have evaluation, but it's because of the lacking budget, or it is the necessity of having evaluation or not is really stopping evaluation to happen. And so for me, I do think the use the digital approach could improve the efficiencies of using budget, especially when you think about how digital tools could be applied into the evaluation practices. And one of the way, but yeah, there will be risk, and I will be discussing that more in later. So one of them would just be, for example, if we are doing a survey and if utilizing the AI to do the chat and with the survey beneficiary, the people who is taking the survey, you can have a more comprehensive understanding about the response, and you got more analyzed way of understanding their perspective and where they come from. But however, it also comes with risk, but actually they could dramatically decreasing the cost for having the evaluations. And I do think this is a game changer for future evaluation use. And but on the other hand, I do think that the traditional evaluation practices could also be challenged more by the change of technology, as for example, blockchain as entirely has rewrite the understanding about accountabilities, that you don't have any space to play with in such mechanisms. So yeah, that would basically be my answer to this, and I will hand the floor to Brenda.
Thank you, Cheng. Well, it's very provoking, really. In our context in Latin America, I know that there are differences, but we have a difficult situation with evaluation. Our field is really shrinking. With all the poly crisis that are happening, we are having less space for our evaluation practice in general, for any age. Yeah. So the professionals from different ages, we need to start learning, also getting new skills. Somebody mentioned this before, that to be a relevant and updated evaluator, you also need here. But what I see from my practice is more because of these less resources, many other threads in the middle of our field, more combined teams, intergenerational work. that you got all this fresh air coming from the technologies, but at the same time giving meaningful interpretation to all what comes out with the experience from the evaluators that have the senior evaluators, let's say. So that's how I see it works better, rather than only focusing in only including innovation and all the technologies, because they may come into not so meaningful exercise of our evaluation practices. So that's what I've seen from my experience, and open to other voices.
Thank you very much, Brenda. Rachel, you want to come in?
Yes, thank you, Agnes. So when we talk about youth-led digital tools, I think we need to get it right. So we're not just talking about young people using technology, right? We're talking about tools designed and driven, or maybe even adapted by young people. So for instance, I could decide to maybe not use Soviet CTO or SurveyMonkey or Kobo Collect. I could decide to, quickly use WhatsApp poll, or just like we have done here, use, the Zoom poll to quickly collect feedback. So that is young people using technology in that sense to collect data to drive change. And then another example could be using dashboards, like we all know, maybe with Power BI, where you're able to quickly track issues or see issues as they happen on the go, right? So youth-led means that young people are the ones setting the priorities, they choose the method, and they shape the way the results are shared and, of course, disseminated. And just like Cheng has said, AI would also take this further, right? We're able to analyze large amounts of data quickly. We can translate responses across languages, and maybe even spot trends that humans may or may not miss, right? So all of these would definitely challenge traditional evaluation, which sometimes could be slow and, dependent on long and very lengthy reports. So, but with youth-led digital approaches, right, we're able to think of digital storytelling. We're able to think of using dashboards to show results instantly. We're thinking of converting reports to infographics so that it makes sense to everyone and not just to some certain stakeholders. And then looking at power, this would also demystify, power dynamics. So we're not just allowing the old or the, I don't want to call them old, sorry about that, but we don't just want to allow the experienced in that sense because they have more years of experience. We don't want to allow them control the entire process. We want to be part of this process, right? So with youth-led AI and storytelling approaches, young people can be able to collect data. We want to interpret data and share data in our voices. And this way, whatever results, whatever findings would be unfiltered, they would be real. And then they would also be in formats that everyone can engage in. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much, panelists. Very interesting takes there. Indeed, there's different youth-led approaches, and I think, Rachel, you have summarized this very well about this tools designed and driven by young people, and hearing as well from Brenda and Cheng and about the cost-benefit analysis for evaluations. I think we have been hearing a lot about that, especially now during this time with limited resources. Colleagues, you talked about the use of evaluations as well, which we are also talking a lot about this and the different tools that we have discussed using AI on this, what we can use to summarize our reports to be able to make sure that they're more impactful and having the meaningful interpretation also from the senior evaluators. And I think as we continue to speak as well, we are seeing a lot of the repetition on intergenerational dialogue, and it's just really emphasizing about the value of this. So thank you very much for sharing your takes. My next question is, what are some of the specific contexts or challenges youth in the Global South face when using evaluations to redefine accountability and advocate for social change? And what are some of the strategies that they are using to overcome these obstacles? The floor is open, panelists.
Yeah, if I may, to answer this question, because it's really provoking and interesting. So the challenges that actually youth, not just in the Global South, but generally faces today. trying to rise for accountability, advocating for social change. You know, today we can see that actually it's kind of the global political crisis, I would say. Sometimes, you know, serious challenges that face in front of the nations in different parts of the world. And this is the serious challenge for evaluation and use of evidences by politicians at all. So more and more governments and parliaments are not that much interested in that openness, accountability. And here, what actually changes the situation from the political perspectives, this is new technologies, this is social media, this is AI, and we cannot stop this process. People, you know, they actually express their opinions and they do influence on the social reality worldwide. And this is again about the strong connection between this new influence of technologies to the general political landscape and the young generation who are really like digital natives. So here we can see that actually there are so many different like levels of this question and these problems. But how does the youth expresses themselves? What do they do? So youth in the global south, they do face the significant challenges using the evaluation to drive social change. For example, limited access to reliable data, financial resources, and technical skills. This is obvious. And also, you know, they also navigate complex environments marked by political repressions, social inequality, and actually that, you know, can stifle their efforts to hold authorities accountable. But they keep going, and this is important. So what we can see, to overcome these obstacles, young leaders, they really pioneering innovating strategies, and I really appreciate how they leverage the power of mobile technology, social media to collect data, to disseminate findings, how they work with communities, how they use participatory approaches. And this is really like changing the reality, and this is the actually respond to those challenges. So by building strong networks, forming youth-led evaluations collectives, they create a united front, empowering themselves to challenge traditional power structures and drive accountability. And here what's important, this is definitely to build partnership with a purpose, to help the young evaluators, the young people, to be more involved and included. Really don't just to present the data. It's important to use the craft of powerful narrative. It's important to visualize, use the whole potential of digital technologies. It's important to advocate for data access. Youth ground groups should actively campaign for open data policies from their governments. Having access to government data is a powerful tool for holding authorities accountable, and that will strengthen their evaluation work significantly. And also it's important to create educational access to evaluation for youth. Even here in our chat, I saw one of the questions, what about the opportunities, you know, to ongoing practice, to education in this sector? So there is a need for that, and I think this is a response as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia. Yes, Rachel.
Thank you, Agnes. Yes, so I would say that youth in the Global South are using evaluation as a form of activism. So not just to measure outcomes or impact, but to expose institutional gaps, to push for equity and to demand change. To answer your question, some of the key challenges faced by young people when using evaluation to advocate for change are adultism and tokenism, where young people are included in the evaluation processes, you know, only to tick the boxes, but when it's time for the real decision making, they are handled by the experienced experts. This in its sense would limit our ability to shape findings, to interpret findings, and also advocate for meaningful change. Just to give an example, in Nigeria, we tend to not even wait for traditional M&E systems to happen. Just like Cheng had said, there's that unclear definition of what evaluation is. So beyond waiting for donors or commissioners to commission evaluation, young people are taking the lead, right? Especially in the civic space. So for instance, there are citizen-led initiatives like the Budget Foundation Tracker platform and the Connected Development, Follow the Money initiative. I'm sure most of us are very familiar with that. So these are initiatives that mobilize young people and grassroots networks to track public spending and hold leaders accountable on constituency projects, especially in the health and education sector. So while these are not traditional evaluation practices or processes, they are actually evaluation in action, right? Because they make sure, or they enable, they make sure that data is made available and is accessible, and it's even very easy for everyone to understand. So I think we should maybe adopt this approach to redefine evaluation as a tool. So let it not just be a tool for reporting, but let it be a tool for driving social change. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Rachel. And we finish up with Brenda on this.
Yes, thank you. Well, I recognize in Natalia's description of the context many things that could be perfectly applied for our region as well. Yeah, so we have common pains on that side. And what Rachel said is that it is relevant to the space that brings the learning side, the dissemination transparency definitely gives a great space for improving the voice or increasing the voice of young people and in their contribution. To give an example, recently we had under ReLAC we had 4 sessions of FOCAP events that we adapted to evaluation, and we brought together well, people from different disciplines and different ages, yeah, together. And it was so rich to bring together in an horizontal space to learn and to be vulnerable, talking about what we screw up, yeah, and what we learn from that. Those kind of things internally also gives the power to shift these different dynamics, yeah, to recognize what from each side can bring. Beside this, that is more internal in the forming in the capacity building side, we have also the political advocacy side. From evaluation itself, I think definitely to shift this, to make these changes happen, we need to bring the youth movements more on with a strategic orientation, more to work more together, closer with other key relevant actors like the BOPES, for example, like ReLAC is. We have many leaders, formal EvalYouth within our lines, but we have very few activities together with this movement, and well, we are working on that to try to do more things side by side, yeah, so we can support each other.
Wow, thanks a lot for that, panelists. I think we've had very interesting points. And as we wrap up this question or this segment before we open up to the reflections from the audience, I remind you to please post your questions on the Q&A. Soon we'll be opening up, and feel free to raise your hands as well when we start that segment. So now for our last question. How can intergenerational knowledge transfer support youth engagement in indigenous evaluation? And I open the floor.
Maybe I can come first. So I think the previous discussion in the second question is very interesting. But from my point of view, actually, this also connects to the third question, is because in my point of view, there is no silver bullet for evaluation to develop in any countries. And yeah, the political dynamic of bringing evaluation to change, bring more youth is important. But many of the times, depending on the scenario, evaluation are understood differently and are practiced also differently across countries. And that is where the intergenerational knowledge really coming in, is that young people need to know what is going on before they how to say how to say. So I always say like I was a idealist, but before you becoming an idealist, you need to know how the real world is in practice, because if we are just hitting something that like a moonshot, it will be very likely that you're gonna fail in the very beginning. So that is also how I operate EvalYouth network in China. Is not like we want to start with something big, but we actually start from just a group of young people. We're interested about learning evaluations. We're also interested about like how China currently practice evaluations. And so that is why our workshop, actually the SDG workshop, that we collaborate not only with UNICEF, but also with local academies such as Tsinghua universities. That is where we can invite the government stakeholders, we can invite the local academy, think tank, practitioner who already involved in the locally rooted knowledge, which come here and to discuss about evaluation. And actually, you can find that the invited speaker also learns from us, like they learn from how globally we are practicing evaluations, but at the same time, we could actually coming up with something new, something that is not discussed at the global landscape about evaluations. For example, China is very strong in performance evaluation. So what is performance evaluation? What is different? And what is the advantage that it can bring, and how young people can be contributing to those. I think so those intergenerational knowledge is crucially important. That is why I'm always like trying to avoid the dichotomy between these seasoned professionals with YEs. I think it is important to collaborate instead of drawing a clear line that we are different, you need to listen to us, or you need to listen to me, right? So that is why I think the collaboration is really the key, and the intergenerational knowledge is really the key for adapting and localizing evaluations at the national or country levels. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Cheng. And to conclude?
Yep. If I may just to add to this question, because we already touched this topic many times during our discussion. It's so important to have intergenerational work, in different directions. And evaluation really needs, more connections and more clear understanding between the generations, by the content, by the methods, by the technologies. And here definitely there are many examples when actually the drivers of the serious reforms promoting, for example, evaluation agenda or the legislation, or using the evidences of evaluation among politicians, actually it's about younger politicians, younger government officials who are more interested, let's say, in the evidences, etc. This is the observation from our region. And also, it's important to create, for example, like mentorship programs that we discussed already. By why not to create reverse mentorship? When young youth leaders, evaluators, they kind of lead very experienced and professional evaluators on the new digital skills and tools. This is also very important to create these links between the generations. Also, one of the opportunities to work together to create a shared repository of knowledge using the technologies, but keep the knowledge, for the different generations in the clear language. So there are many different approaches and opportunities that can be used, but the main idea is intergenerational work cooperation should be here in place for the efficient future of evaluation.
Thank you very much, panelists. I think this was a very interesting segment that we just had. When you were talking about the specific challenges, I think it's part of what we are continuously discussing, and we're looking to see how we can, challenge these traditional norms that we have within evaluations, how we can use social change to drive evaluation. And I think, as we said, we keep on emphasizing the importance of intergenerational collaboration. So thank you very much, panelists, for sharing your thoughts. I think it's conversations like this that help us move our work forward. Now, we want to hear from you, our audience, our participants. What resonated with you? What reflections would you like to share about our key question today? Is the intersection of youth, innovation, and influence the new frontier of evaluation? Would you like to also share based on the live debate that we just had, and also the discussion that we had on the questions as well with the panelists? Please feel free. I will be looking at hands. Please feel free to raise your hands, and I'll also be looking at the questions and posing them to our panelists as well. In case I don't see your hand, my colleagues will support me on this one. I see one question: how to collaborate in this campaign of Eval for Action. Thank you everyone for the amazing webinar. I would like to ask, how can a young person start on the path to evaluation and decision making? So panelists, I will read some of the questions and then you will feel free to respond. There is a question: my issue is where and how opportunities to get hands-on experience, meaning where and how to find opportunities. I think that's what we have so far.
I can come to some of the questions. So I think definitely, like, this is also covered in our previous discussion, that the opportunity of evaluation is really declining as how to say, the recession of a lot of the opportunities or international development projects. And one way that EvalYouth China has been found is that EvalYouth support other youth organizations. So you need to know that not only youth is activated in evaluation, but also youth is activating a lot of the development agenda, actually. So we are currently having 2 pilot projects voluntarily supporting other youth organizations to boost their admin capacities and help them to conduct evaluations. And this is very important. And I guess, like, how to involve and how to get your first contract to start as evaluators could be coming from something like this, as a volunteer, something that created opportunities between youth to youth. And this is alternative that we found, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you, Cheng. Yes, Rachel, I know we have a hand up, but once you panelists, you respond to this, I will call in our participant. Yes, Rachel,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, thank you, Agnes. So I was trying to type in the chat to answer Lisa's question. Yeah, so what I would say is to start with what you have at this time, right? What skills do you have? Because evaluation would require that you bring in transferable skills from other sectors. So do you have great communication skills? It means you could, work on reports. Can you collect data? Have you administered surveys before? Can you conduct interviews or FGDs with people? I mean, start with what you have, right? So you want to look inward to identify all of these skills that you already have. You don't need to, think about it so much, right? And then when you've identified all of these skills, you now want to go on to develop on them, to hone those skills. You want to intern, you want to volunteer with NGOs, with organizations in your circle or in your space, so that you're able to hone all of these skills, right? And then you now go on to take courses. So what are those courses that you would take to help you improve on your existing skills, as well as to develop new skills? And then join associations. If you have VOPs in your country, I don't know where you're joining from. If you have YE associations, you could join them, network with people, gain access to resource hubs so that you could, keep learning. And then, of course, I'm sure you would get there. You would get to your apex very soon. Just to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Natalia?
Yes, thank you. Actually, they're very similar questions I'd like to respond, because Elisa asked about opportunities to start the path in evaluation and decision making. Actually, the important thing, I think, it should be motivation first. If you're really interested in the topic and want to be professional evaluator, so as already Rachel described, there are so many different opportunities today, and also to start volunteering internship in the local VOPE, to join the project, international project, and be part of the team step by step. But also, it's important to monitor other special education and evaluation in your countries, because now it's rapidly developing area, many different courses online and offline, to be included in these societies. Also to landscape to monitor the social networks of evaluators, etc., to become part of different networks and groups to the relevant topics. And as for decision making, also it's a path that starts from your motivation. first of all, build yourself. There should be motivation and fire inside, your desire to become the person that actually changes this world, as you can in different sectors, either professional or decision-making positions. And also for political entrance, there are many opportunities for younger people in different parts of the world now for different political campaigns, the quotas, etc. So I would just recommend not to stop and find the ways using the social network opportunities, professional existing networks, dealing with decision makers and politicians, working with them as interns, as the people who work with them as kind of the starting from the positions of experts, assistants, and monitoring, exploring how that system looks from inside, because decision making looks very much more complicated that it can be considered from outside. And just join these opportunities.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, panelists. Please feel free to respond directly on the Q&A as well, panelists. I open the floor to Olebe Emmanuel. Your hand is up. Please feel free to unmute now. And participants, feel free to raise your hands as well. Over to you.
Thank you so much. And I hope all of you can hear me well. So first, I want to thank all our panelists for the insightful discussions. I've really followed the discussion and it was such a great discussion. I think mine is just a take home and a word of encouragement to the young and emerging evaluators. Personally, I've had some quite enjoyable periods in this field of monitoring and evaluation. But as you all know, the field of M&E, it's all about personal zeal and then also what you feel about in evaluation, because for you to participate in evaluation, it's about your ambition, your individual inputs to build your capacity. And then also, of course, I encourage the young people to always take up these small activities that we normally to build your capacity in data collection, and then also participate in academic research. For example, for me, I started by engaging myself in undertaking academic research, whereby I engaged in doing a master's dissertations and also PhD. And I think that's how I've been in position to develop my skills. And eventually, yes, by the time when you engage in these small activities, you'll be in position to come up and build on your skills. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for sharing that, Emmanuel. I'm just checking to see if we have any other hand up. There are some questions in the chat, and my colleagues are also responding, and the panelists are responding on the chat, so feel free as well on the Q&A. Panelists, anyone wants to come in on what Emmanuel just said? I encourage you, our audience, our participants, please feel free to raise your hands.
Agnes, while you're taking the question, maybe I would like to reply to,
yes,
to this intervention that is also connected with the kind of the previous one. Yeah. At the end, yeah, of course, it starts with the motivation, internal motivation. Of course, there are opportunities out there, yeah, for in the academic sector, in the BOPES, even in the institutions that work in the evaluation field. And now I bring back a point that I started, that we need to have a broader vision of what evaluation implies. What is evaluation? Because we can find evaluative thinking in planning, evaluative thinking in learning while doing adaptive management, and so on. So we need also to consider a more varied application of the evaluation practices within our professional development. Because what is happening, at least what we have seen from this part of the region, is that it is less, it is more frequent to find combinations of evaluation skills embedded into other phases of the development of initiatives.
Thank you, Brenda. Yes, Cheng, just wait. Let me see if there's another hand up.
Okay,
Please.
I think a very interesting advice that I got from some of my mentor is that you need to be open-minded. Just don't just think about evaluation as the only career that you're gonna do, because evaluators many times they are coming from your mid-career, you have other experiences, and then you come to evaluations. Or yeah, so be open to opportunities, and I think evaluation itself are very inclusive in terms of how you can apply the skills to. And even you are a program managers, even you maybe you do risk management, social environment safeguard, you could still apply the evaluation techniques. So I think that is also coming back to my first argument. We should not just heading to create an evaluation society that only evaluators and evaluation associate knows what evaluation is. We are really like shaping the ecosystem for people to understand about the evaluation, and evaluation could be empowering your skill set to get your next job, which you can be linking to evaluations. Yes, so that is my response to the overall questions.
Thank you very much. We have one of our participants as well, Oluwatomiwa. I hope I pronounced it well. And please, the floor is yours.
All right. Good day, everyone. Can you confirm you can hear me?
Very well.
Okay, that's great. So good day to us, and I'm happy to have tuned into this conversation. It's been very interesting, and I like the different takes, the takes from the, older professionals, and then the takes from Rachael as well. It shows two different sides. Also interesting is that, across the global south and global north, the evaluation space is different. For me, I think I just want to add my voice to what Cheng said earlier. I think I most appreciated his take regarding the balance, right, between the older professionals and the younger professionals. I feel like for us to get to that, position where we all project as young people and young evaluators, we need to, work together, and the intergenerational discourse will remain, and I think it's very interesting. So we young people have to just take that up and see that as a way to drive young and emerging evaluators forward. The other thing I wanted to add is that artificial intelligence is here to stay. That's the reality. So as young people, I think the onus is on us to take that responsibility up, and especially now that we're having the discourse about young people being at the forefront of evaluation, right? We need to equip ourselves, right, with those artificial intelligence skills, so that when the opportunities come, it's not just about, we are clamoring for the opportunities. Now we have the opportunities. Let's take those steps, take actions, and then, by doing such, we would have the natural appeal from different groups of people. Thank you very much. Over.
Thank you very much for that, Oluwatomiwa. Thank you very much. Just checking to see if we have more hands. I don't see now. Checking the Q&A. I believe the questions have been answered. Just to give you some of the answers in case you have not seen. How to collaborate in the campaign of Eval for Action, please write to the email posted there, contact@evalforaction.org. On the experiences, you can start on volunteering, interning, maybe unpaid, with little stipends is a great way to start. You can also decide to work informally from experts in your circle. If you're interested in connecting with the EvalYouth network and their mentoring program, we talked a lot about mentorship as well. Write to evalyouth@gmail.com. Again, write to EvalYouth if you want to be a member. That question has come up a lot, and there are different national chapters in different countries, so you can also reach out to them directly. About dissemination on opportunities and resources for YEEs, you can write as well to EvalYouth. And about competencies that young evaluators should develop beyond the methodological ones. Interpersonal skills are important, and it's also important to develop networks around you so that you're more aware of upcoming opportunities or mentors. I believe I have read them all. Let me see. Okay. Speakers? Okay, so no more questions. So at this point, I will open up to our panelists. We are almost at the top of the hour, and I would like to request you that we do a quick 30 seconds rapid fire with you. So please share one key takeaway or action point related to our discussion today. You can reflect also on what our participants and audience have asked us or reflected, shared their reflections, and basically share with us something that our diverse audience can take forward to collectively shape the future of evaluation dialogue. I open up the floor to you now. 30 seconds each. We can start with Natalia.
Okay, thank you. So from the questions, we see that still there is a huge need in the information for the opportunities, for young generation in evaluation, and actually it's the role of decision makers as well and experienced evaluators to open the opportunities. This is the crucial need that we can actually admit and should work all together about that. And my actual message to young evaluators, youth, your voice is powerful, and don't wait for permission to be part of decision making and evaluation. Explore opportunities. The world is open for you. Get involved in the evaluation process. Advocate for your needs and use digital tools to share your perspectives. And then your energy and ideas can shape a more inclusive and just future. So the message to step up and make your impact today.
Thank you very much. Brenda, please.
Yeah, thank you. I think we need to look for solutions that are systemic. And, well, there are many, but I think we need to create the structured pathways to combine youth energy with experienced guidance, ensuring that young evaluation can contribute meaningfully from both, from the technical side and also from the strategic advocacy side for social change. So from my perspective, I think, and where I'm sitting now, definitely, I think we should encourage youth movements to work closer with the local actors that are in the environment, in the evaluation ecosystem, especially with POPEs. That's what I will like to strengthen.
Thank you very much, Brenda. Rachael?
Yeah, thank you, Agnes. So my key takeaway will be to everyone. We need to turn evaluation from a technical exercise to a participatory movement, right? Where everyone can see data, see evidence, verify it, and act on it. So the strategy would be very simple. Use technology and AI for innovation and visibility. Use community and youth engagement for legitimacy, and then use digital storytelling for influence. Now that is the way we can make sure that no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheng?
Okay. Yes, I think a lot of the questions is also about the opportunities and how to get the trainings, how to get involved, how to develop your network. And I think it really echoes with Natalia, has all these come from motivation. So a lot of the open opportunities you can find it from LinkedIn, which is open platform, and there are so many trainings that I myself even have difficulties of following up all the trainings all the times, because varied agencies have and or VOP or EvalYouth is going to have varied trainings. So pay attention to that. And also myself came from I'm not evaluator, but I come to found the evaluation chapters, the EvalYouth chapters in my countries. So with your motivation to do plannings and do learnings and to act, you can get a lot of the opportunities along your journeys. And intergenerational learning is important as well. So please get your mentors and please learn from more experienced evaluators or professionals. Yeah, that'll be it.
Thank you very much, panelists. This was such an amazing segment. We got to hear from our audience, and thank you a lot for your contributions. I think we are on the right track towards shaping the future of evaluation. And of course, it's always very great to have the audience challenge, enrich, and bring these new dimensions to our conversation. So thanks a lot for that. And for our panelists, thank you for the rapid fire round. I think it was some very great advice, strong calls for action there. And you've highlighted a number of innovative approaches, adaptations that we can also use and help to make evaluation more influential today and tomorrow. And so we are looking forward to carrying this forward as well. As we wrap up now, I just want to say a big thank you once again to Ms. Keita, our amazing speakers, our partners, and all of you who joined this vibrant conversation. I just want to echo the voice of the participants that it has been very interesting to hear the different views and see what the different generations and the different diverse panelists had to say. So that was really great. Thank you for that. We are just getting started. This is the first in a series of Future of Evaluation dialogues. So please stay tuned for the second dialogue next month. The registration link has already been posted in the chat, I believe. And also please don't forget to complete the participant survey, which will pop up for all participants when we close the webinar. We do need your feedback to make the upcoming webinar better. So please share your thoughts as well. And now, as we're about to leave, I invite you to carry this energy back into our work. We have so much energy. We've talked a lot today about being able to, shape evaluation and shaping this, the future evaluation dialogues as well. So please, let's carry this as we continue to shape the future of evaluation. Let's make it more inclusive, more innovative, more influential. And as Ms. Keita reminded us earlier, every voice matters. If we listen to each other and keep our minds open to discovery, we can use evaluation to create the future that we want. So let's carry that forward. We also invite you to sign the manifesto to meaningfully engage youth and young evaluators in evaluation. And I am looking to see if those links have been posted in the chat. Yes.
Yes, they have, Agnes.
Yes, so we have yes, thank you, BKM. We have the manifesto in the chat. Please sign if you have not signed yet. We have the registration link for the next dialogue as well. Please register for that. It will be on evaluation and peace. That will be great. And we have different links as well. I believe the survey will be popping up shortly. So thank you once again. And with that, until next time. Over to you, colleagues, for the survey.